So, I'm frustrated and I think SIG, the developers of Star Citizen, are screwing over their own player base and by extension themselves. With the release of 3.24, we now have the straight-to-flyable Aegis Saber Peregrine. This ship is a mistake, an abomination, and should not have been released. I'm going to explain why the Peregrine is bad, and what SIG should have done, instead of making this thing. On the surface, sure, the Peregrine is a cool ship. High top nav speed at almost 1500 meters per second, faster acceleration than other racing ships. No weapons hardpoints as it is purely a racing vehicle, and it's based on the Saber design, which players already love. But I don't love it. At $185, the Peregrine is not cheap. Let's put this into perspective. That's more expensive than multifunctional multi-crew ships like the Cutlass Blue, Red, and Black. That's more expensive than industrial ships which make you AUEC, like the Prospector and Vulture. It's more expensive than fast light fighters like the Talon, Gladius, and Arrow, which can actually serve a function in a fight while also being zippy. And the Peregrine is more expensive to pledge than any other racing ship currently available in Star Citizen. When you combine this with the fact that it's straight up faster than every other racing ship already released, we see clear power creep being rolled out with an accompanying high price tag. But I hear you saying, Dan, they financed the game with ship sales. They have to do this. I'll give you that SIG does need to sell ships to make this game, but I think with this ship we have an egregious combination of a relatively easy ship to make along with a high price tag. All they had to do was modify the recently created Saber Firebird by removing guns, changing shape mildly, and adding paint. Then to make it a racing ship, they just make it go extra fast. The effort to cost ratio is so heavily skewed on this ship relative to other ships that it feels insulting to the player, as if SIG is having a joke at our expense. Look how little work we can deliver and how much we can charge for it. It's giving disrespect, and I think SIG can do better. So what would I rather SIG worked on instead of the Peregrine? Because I understand you can't just have vehicle artists and 3D modelers switch gears to work on server meshing and 4.0 blocking core tech. I'd like them to primarily work on the enormous backlog of ships that people have already paid for. In some cases, years ago, the Hull B, Perseus, Apollo, and Rylan could all be introduced into the game with little or no work from non-vehicle teams. Ships like the Banu Merchantman, Kraken, Expanse, and Galaxy would require some additional work from non-vehicle teams for their gameplay to exist. But again, players paid for these years ago, and it's poopy on the part of SIG to continually ignore these ships and the players who bought them over and over again. I know some of you are now yelling at your screen, "They have to finance the project, don't be too hard on SIG." You know what would help finance the project? A working reputation. Because you're delivering things you've said you'd deliver. Ignoring complex ships in favor of overpriced reskins, simply because the complex ships are difficult and don't bring in new money, is like asking Domino's to deliver pizzas for a party, only for Domino's to never deliver pizzas. And when asked why, reply with, "Yeah, your order was too big, and it would take a while to make it, so we'll do some smaller orders and maybe later we'll get around to yours." Don't be toxic about it. By the way, asking when is toxic. Lastly, we don't need a new racing ship. Truly, we don't. And even more than new ships or old ships, I'd rather see meaningful gameplay added to the game. Now I know you're out of your chair throwing things at the screen saying, "Dan, no! Vehicle artists can't just make pyro. People who model 3D vehicles can't fix elevators. A concept artist isn't a badly needed QA person." And you're right, but there are long-term sustained bugs that have not been resolved for years, when we're talking about things like falling through the ground, NPC performance, and desync failures. And there are features that have been promised for years and not delivered, like pyro, base building, server meshing, meaningful org gameplay or any systems interacting with orgs, exploration, farming, mineral refining, hireable NPCs, or detachable mining bags. When features are being delayed by years, this indicates that perhaps SIG needs to allocate headcount and priority in the direction of bugs and features, in lieu of unneeded ships with highly limited purposes. So if SIG were set on a fast saber, what do I think they should have done? SIG could have taken a different approach that would drive the game forward. What if instead of an entire ship, we actually used already available loadout options? Perhaps a performance engine that increases turn rate and top speed, but is especially power hungry. And a power plant that produces additional boost, but performs poorly at charging weapons or shields. This could be slapped into a bundle with a racing livery and we'd have a saber performance conversion kit. This would allow the existence of a fast saber without the power creep, and would allow players to do fun stuff, like mix and match components to speed up battle-capable sabers, while making component choices other than just buying A-tier quantum drives or shields. I know I've expressed some salt in this video. To be clear, I respect and appreciate every gosh darn dev and artist working on this game that I love. What I don't love is FOMO marketing, lazy reskins, and the prioritization of power creep sales over stability. I'd love to see SIG show the players some more respect by working on previously promised ships and existing issues. Let me know in the comments how you feel about the Peregrine. Like and subscribe for more memes and occasional rants.